And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
What is up, gang? I am absolutely exhausted, but I'm really excited about all this Hearthstone news. Uh, we'll just jump into my week real fast because we got a lot to talk about.
Okay.
Um, been kind of grinding my tasks and doing my due diligence. I have not played standard other than to do dailies. I'm sitting at Diamond 10, and I'm fine with that. I know I'm probably going to drop down to 8 times multiplier, but to be honest, I'm going to play a lot when the new month hits because we have a new mini set coming. And then once I'm tired of playing with the new meta, then I will go back to Mercenaries. And I think that's going to be the way I play Hearthstone. Uh, I've gotten a lot of my grinding done. I'm about ready to start pushing into PvP, but my part-time job is going to 6 days a week through peak, so I'm not going to have a lot of time to play, unfortunately, other than my ETT, which we've talked about before.
Yep.
uh, my effective toilet time. That's about all I've been able to play. I did get a chance to go to the movies, and I went and saw My Hero Academia in theaters
Nice.
today. So that was nice to be able to get out and actually go to a theater. I haven't been to a theater in months. It's been so long. So before peak season picks up and I won't have any time to do anything, I thought I'd go ahead and go do that. Other than that, I'm just enjoying all the news that's coming out for Hearthstone. It's coming out rapid fire. Lots of stuff in the patch notes. But before we get to that, how was your week?
Uh, my week was busy. So I've played some Battlegrounds this week. I haven't played I kind of backed off a little bit on Mercenaries this week. I've not completed all my tasks each day, but I have knocked out most all of my daily quests and my weekly quests. Like I said, I played some Battlegrounds. My wife's friends were on vacation this week, so she and I took Thursday and Friday off from our jobs to spend kind of with them, and we also went to the movies and we saw the new Halloween Kills. We're all fans of horror and love the Halloween series, so we went and saw
Cool.
that in theaters, and it was quite enjoyable. I don't think it was as good as the 2018 installment in the series, but it was okay. And then we just kind of hung out and played some games, and we played some Cards Against Humanity. And got the everything bagel edition basically, and had some fun with that. But yeah, I've been pretty much just kind of relaxing this week and playing some BGs. So
Cool. Yeah, I know it's Halloween time,
yeah,
so there are a ton of great horror movies that are out there in circulation right now, and I will see none of them because I do
right.
not do horror.
Yeah. Well,
I've
tomorrow, so
never.
we're recording this on Saturday night, and tomorrow is Halloween,
Uh-huh.
and so Halloween falls on a Sunday. My wife and I are getting up and going to church, coming home, changing clothes, going to a wedding, coming home, changing clothes, and handing out candy to trick or treaters. So
Wow.
tomorrow is going to be a very, very hectic day. Last year we had about 45 or 50 kids in our neighborhood come by trick or treat. So we're expecting at least that or more again this year, weather permitting, of course. So
I've got to
yeah,
work.
we'll have to see how it
I've,
goes.
I've got to work Halloween evening, and I'm hoping traffic isn't just atrocious on the way back, but it probably will be. So, gonna take it back easy, nice and slow. Make sure I don't get in any wrecks or anything.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be nuts, I'm sure, on the roads. But enough about our weeks. Let us talk about patch 21.6.
This patch
which has
is
been
huge.
Announced and details have been given to us and is going to drop this Tuesday, November the 2nd.
Yes, I'm excited for this.
There's been a lot of speculation it would happen the second because other blog posts have hinted at certain content like the dual class arenas and things like that dropping on the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
So we assumed a patch would probably be coming around that time. But with that patch notes, we did get the announcement of the next mini set, Stockades.
No.
What's it?
But
Stockades.
wait, there's more.
Yeah. It was Deadmines, which I'm excited about, and it makes a lot of sense because going into United in Stormwind, we heard a lot of big praise about the warrior quest line and how it's actually even good into next year's sets for the testing that's going ahead. I think Cora Giorgio actually told us about that, but that's relying on pirates, and the pirate package is kind of small. And Deadmines has a lot of pirate themes.
I just want to start by saying Deadmines was always one of my favorite dungeons in Classic WoW. For those of you who played, you'll remember it. It's just a well done. It tells a story. The quest line leading up to that dungeon is fantastic, and it was just so much fun. In fact,
yeah,
I've been playing Burning Crusade Classic, and the last 3 or 4 weeks, my group has been running Deadmines to get everybody geared, and it just brings back so many fun memories. And I love the fact that that's the dungeon they chose to base this mini set off of. It is so good.
So, talking about that, the reason I thought Stockades is because it just kind of fits with the United in Stormwind theme. However, there was a tweet, I can't remember which dev that it was, but there was a tweet that said that up until almost very close to the release of United in Stormwind, they had planned for that set, United in Stormwind, to be Westfall themed.
Okay.
Like Barons, Barons
right.
theme was right outside Orgrimmar. Westfall's right outside outside Stormwind. So, but I'm sure they didn't give a reason why it didn't happen that way. But Westfall's not as deep in its variety of lore as Barons is, and it's kind of plain, and it also has a lot of the same color palettes as Barons.
Mm-hmm.
That beigeish, brownish stuff. So, I suspect the reason we didn't get it in Westfall were those reasons. But now that we know that Westfall was the targeted set location, not Stormwind, it makes a lot more sense that Deadmines is the mini set.
Yes.
And I'm cool with that. Now, with the Deadmines mini set, we do have 35 unique cards, a total of 4 legendaries, 1 epic, 14 rares, and 16 commons.
So just like past mini sets, 35 cards.
We have all the cards to talk about this week except for the 4 legendaries. They have not revealed those yet. I'm assuming they did say there's going to be an event or something. I can't remember if it's a YouTube video or on Twitch on Monday the 1st that will likely give us the last 4 cards, which are legendaries.
So if you're listening to this on the download or the day it releases, you may get something today.
Yes. So we're going to talk about the legendaries next week. in next week's show, but we are going to talk about all the rest of the cards, the other 31 cards, on the second half of the show instead of a play portion. Now, how do you get these cards? You'll be able to get all of the cards, a total of 66 cards, because 2 of everything except for legendaries, for $14.99 USD or 2,000 gold.
That's a
just
steal.
like before, you can purchase this with gold. And I know a lot of people have gone through their gold with Mercenaries, and we'll talk about this some more. There are some more reasons to buy Mercenaries packs in this patch as well. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the cards, but let's talk a little bit more about this patch. Along with the Deadmines mini set, obviously they gave us a cinematic trailer. It was really good. I watched it a couple times. I didn't even catch up on the music. But along with the mini set announcement is Mercenaries content is getting updated.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into details, I did not expect any Mercenaries updates until maybe the next patch, or like a 21.6.2 or something.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that we're going to see more Mercenaries content already?
This fast. So yeah, we're looking at almost a month since Mercenaries released, and they've already got 5 new Mercenaries ready to drop. And
yeah,
that's fantastic.
So we talked about before, if we saw more Mercenaries coming, how did we expect to see them? And I'm not sure if we talked about it on the show or if it was in our Discord, but I expected to see maybe 3 at a time. A fighter, a protector, and a caster, and maybe 1 of each rarity: legend, epic, and rare. We are getting, we'll just go down the list. First one is going to be Edwin, Defias Kingpin. He's a legendary fighter. He's going to have the pirate type.
Yeah, he's going to be a pirate tribe, which is, I think,
we don't have any pirates yet.
We don't have any pirates. But of these 5 that they're dropping, 4 of them are pirates.
He's going to be a 1380 at max stats. His abilities and all these abilities equipments are the max stats on them. So you won't be getting these out the gate. Is the abilities of Assassin's Blade, which is a 5 speed at rank 5. Attack an enemy. If it hasn't attacked yet this turn, gain 5 health and attack it again. So it punishes opponents that are slow.
Yeah.
Assisted Strike 5, which is speed 5 with a cooldown of 1. Gain 5+5 attack for each friendly pirate and attack a random enemy. Combo, gain immune while attacking this turn, which is pretty big for a fighter to get immune. And then we have Kingpin's Bounty 5, which is speed 4, cooldown 2. Deal 10 damage to an enemy. Repeat for each other pirate you control. Death blow, restore 25 health.
Yeah.
Just after the abilities, what do you think of the strength level of a legendary fighter for Edwin?
I like him. Again, now we're only going to have 4 pirates. So, and of course, the max you can have on the board is 3. So if you're using his Kingpin's Bounty, the max you're going to be able to do is 30 damage. But you restore 25 health for each death blow you land. So, he could be really strong if you time that right.
Yeah, and in the past, we have had some synergies, and obviously we don't have a full team of 6 yet, but you'd have some that would summon like a Murloc or summon a dragon. I don't see any summoning pirates here. Yeah. Just a glance, unless I've missed over them or any of the equipment. Now his equipment, you have 3, obviously just like anything else, 3 equipment, and it doesn't say whether these are the task 2 or task 7, so we don't know which ones they come with. Or the
level 30, yeah.
Yeah, or the level 30. So they have Black Flag 4, which is a passive. Adjacent pirates' abilities are 4 speed faster. That's got to be the task
7. It has to be.
That's sick. That would make them the fastest team comp that I know of. And then you have Round of Drinks 4. Assisted Strike is 3 speed faster, and all always has immune while attacking. That's another really good one. And then even shares for Kingpin's Bounty restores 10 more health and affects all friendly characters, not just pirates.
Right. So instead of restoring 25 health to Edwin, now it's going to restore 35 health to all friendly characters.
Yeah, and we've seen this with Morgul the Oracle has one of their equipment has where it changes it from Murlocs to any. So it's a equipment that allows you to have mixed synergy. Put them with things that aren't their
Right.
tribe and still have some benefit. Maybe not as strong, but it'll have some benefit.
Yeah.
The next anything on Edwin else you want to talk about?
No. I think that pretty much covers it.
There is a diamond portrait shown with him, so that it looks pretty cool. So there'll be another diamond option.
Yeah. Next up, we have a protector. It's an epic protector, and that is Sneed. So if you guys remember,
He is one of my favorite characters in all of Warcraft.
Yeah,
lore.
so Sneed was the second boss in the Deadmines, and he is a pirate, and he is a 777 at max stats.
Buddy.
And his abilities are, his first ability is bzzz, and it is a speed 6, deal damage equal to your attack. If activated saw is active, also damage target's neighbor. If activate saw is active. So activate saw is his second ability. It's a speed 3, cooldown 1, gain +6 attack for 2 turns. Attack a random enemy. And then his third ability is disarm. It is a speed 3, cooldown 1, attack an enemy, give it -5 attack permanently.
This is interesting because there's lots of ways to play this. Also, any ability that has a cooldown, usually you kind of alternate between the primary ability, the first ability, then the cooldown ability, then the first ability. But Bzz actually has a lot of benefits if you decide to leave activate Saw active.
Yeah.
Instead of putting it on cooldown. So that's interesting.
Bzz also damages the target's neighbor.
It's true. It is your attack. So, 7 damage at max isn't a ton. But if you have stuff to buff up the attack, that'll definitely help. Though you do get +6 attack for 2 turns with Activate Saw.
Yes.
So Bzz gets that much stronger.
That's very true.
That has got to be the most fun ability to say.
I love Bzz.
I'll let you say it more going into the equipment.
Yeah, because let's talk about his equipment. Because the first piece of equipment is Skull Dust. And it says, Bzz, gains bleed 5.
No, we don't have bleed in the game yet.
We don't.
For Mercenaries. I'm assuming it's damage over time. I don't know if bleed lasts just one turn or if it's permanent on there. Or as far as I'm aware, there's no way to cleanse. So, and I didn't see any notes in here about bleed specifically. So we're just going to have to find out when the patch hits exactly what bleed does.
Yeah. Second equipment is titanium blades. Activate Saw gives +4 attack and lasts 1 more turn. So
instead of +6 attack for 2 turns, you get +10 attack, and this is max level.
For 3 turns.
For 3 turns, making Bzz even that much better.
Yes. Now Bzz does way more work. All right, and then the last piece of equipment is extra blades. Sneed starts with Activate Saw 5 active for 1 turn, which starting with Activate Saw active just makes Bzz that much better on turn 1.
That's true. I can't believe we're having so much fun with with bzz. Just saying.
I was just trying to see how many times we could say bzz.
So this is a protector that doesn't have any. So I'm kind of confused a little bit by it being a protector.
No
I
taunt.
do understand no taunt and no real damage mitigation other than disarm.
It's almost like a fighter in the protector class.
Kinda like arms spec or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be very interesting, but you're not going to have your normal synergies you would with having a protector in your roster.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see how it goes.
All right, tell us.
It'll
about
be
the next
really
one.
good against fighters though, because that's a lot of damage.
Yes.
Fighters usually, they take double from protectors, so that'll definitely help. The next one is the next one's going to be Eudora, who's an epic fighter, also a pirate. 1078 at max stats. That's big.
Yeah.
Big in the attack. The health is nominal for a fighter, but that 10 attack is a lot. And the abilities are coup d'etat 5, speed.
D'etat.
Isn't that what I said?
The P is silent.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so coup d'etat. I only say that because it annoys Avanties.
Yes.
So coup d'etat is attack an enemy. If it's the left or rightmost enemy, fire Eudora's cannons at it. And that leads us to the second ability, prepare the cannons 5. Speed 7, cooldown 1. Summon a cannon to the left or right of this merc. Starts off cooldown.
Ooh.
So you can use it turn 1. Then you have covering fire 5. Speed 7, cooldown 1. Restores 12 health to a friendly merc and returns them to your bench. Fire all your cannons. Now, we don't have any stats on the cannons, and they're probably not pirates. If they are pirates, that would be really interesting because then it feeds into Edwin's ability. But I doubt they're going to be pirates. What do you think of Eudora? This is very. First off, she's not super fast. She's kind of slow.
She is kind of slow.
But with Edwin's equipment,
yeah, with Edwin, if she is adjacent to Edwin, she's 4 speed faster. So now, prepare the cannons and covering fire are a speed 3.
Yeah,
and
so maybe that's what's going to make the pirate comp strong is having a strong Edwin.
Speed. Yes, that speed buff is going to be huge, I think. So yeah, no, I think honestly, I think that covering fire could be really good strategically.
Yeah. The only problem I see, and this is only a temporary problem until we start getting more fleshed out pirates, is when you swap a pirate that may be getting close to dying with another pirate or with another merc from your bench, it's not going to be a pirate because we only have the 3 pirates.
There's 4 pirates.
We're not guaranteed that it'll be another pirate. I guess it could hit a pirate.
Yeah, that is correct.
And if Eudora's cannon, let's see here, restore to a friendly merc and return them to your bench. If it works like a lot of the other abilities, Eudora should be able to send herself to the bench.
Yes, that is true.
So that may be an option.
Yeah.
Now, if you restore and return them to your bench, do you think they'll be in the pool to come back?
I do.
Probably not.
So basically, with the way I read this is you restore 12 health to that friendly merc, and then they go back to your bench, and at the end of the turn, you'll have to add another minion to the battlefield just like you would if they had died.
Gotcha. This is fairly slow, so they're probably going to get the tax on. If you know the specific merc's going to get targeted, like say Edwin,
Mm-hmm.
He takes a bunch of damage. You restore the health, send it to the bench, and then they come back a little more health. That makes
Correct.
sense. That makes sense.
That's the way I understand it just by reading this.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, I do think the speed's an issue out the box, but once you get Edwin up, then it should be a comparable PvP composition. Let's get into the equipment. We have Shrapnel Shot 4. Cannons deal 5 more damage. We don't know what the cannon's base damage is, but 5 more damage is good. We have Primed Armaments 4. Battle Cry, Summon a Cannon. So that means Eudora is going to start the game with a cannon and then be able to summon a cannon turn 1 with their ability.
Correct.
So that's 2 cannons right out the gate. And then finally, Briny Bracers, passive +2, +10.
Right, which now makes her a 1280. No.
1288.
1288, yeah.
And then even more if you get the max out bonus. So
yeah.
It makes her really strong. I don't think the Briny Bracers are all that good. That's probably the level 30 equipment. I do think your primed armaments is most likely the task 7, and the task 2 is probably Shrapnel Shot. So we'll see.
I just want to take this moment and remind our listeners that if the way Zerotio says coup d'etat is like nails on a chalkboard for you two, you can let him know at twitter.com/Zerotio. And
That's
we
right.
would love to hear from you.
Yeah. I do know it's coup d'etat. I like to say coup d'etat because it annoys Avanties.
Yes, it does.
To
it's
no
like
end.
Nails on a chalkboard. So.
Yep, that's totally it. Now that we're past that, want to talk about our next character?
Yes, so next up we have one of my favorite bosses from this entire dungeon, Mr. Smite.
Yes.
So Mr. Smite is a rare protector. He is a pirate. He is a 775 at maxed stats with the following abilities. Smite Slam at 5 is a speed 8, gain +5 attack for each enemy with 40 or less health attack an enemy. So as the fight goes on and the enemies get lower health, Smite gets stronger.
Yeah. Again, this is another fairly offensive protector, which is interesting. But protector does fit Mr. Smite from the dungeon encounter. Mm-hmm. Speed 8 may benefit quite a bit because that lets your other pirates do their damage, and then he's the last one to go and might just gain a bunch of attack to kill an enemy right off.
Yeah. His second ability is Avast Ye Matey. At level 5, it is a speed 2, gain taunt this turn. After an enemy attacks this merc, gain +5 attack.
So we do have a taunt. That's good. That's going to be really good.
Yep. And then his third ability is Overboard. At level 5, it is a speed 3, cooldown 1. After another character is damaged this turn, gain +10 health and attack a random enemy.
Yeah, it is after another friendly character is damaged this turn.
Right.
Gain +10 health and attack a random enemy. So it says character, not merc, which means any of the cannons that are summoned, if they're damaged, it also
will attack.
Gets him more health and has them attack another random enemy. But that's a lot of attacks if there's some board damage. Yeah,
it is.
Like maybe against a Varden, if they do their area effect and it damages your entire board, including some cannons, then Overboard's going to go off, 3 4 times, depending how many cannon. If there's one cannon, that's 3 times. If there's 2 cannons, that's 4 times. So yeah, that's it's a lot of attacks.
Yeah, it is. Let's talk about his equipment. Sailor's Cap at 4. Mr. Smite gains an additional +4 attack from Smite Slam. So
That makes it +9 attack.
Makes it +9 attack. Yeah,
for each enemy.
Correct. Below 40 or less, with 40 or less health. So then he has Heavy Anchor at 4. Overboard grants +6 attack if the damaged friend is a pirate. So it gets, anytime another friendly character is damaged this turn, he gets +10 health. If that friendly is a pirate, he gets +14 health.
No. You're reading that wrong.
Or, yeah, you're right. It's
He gets
+16.
+10.
Oh.
+6.
+10 health
attack,
and attack.
plus
You're right.
10
You're
health.
right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So it'll be a +6, +10.
Yes.
So it doesn't make him more survivable, but it makes that damage even more.
It makes the damage more, yes. +6,
Yeah.
+10, yeah. And then his last piece of equipment is Sharpened Scabbard. At 4, whenever another friendly pirate attacks, gain +4 attack.
Yep.
So, I mean,
That'll be good.
Overall, I think Smite could get really big really fast with pirates. What's your overall take on Smite?
My worry is survivability. Yes, he's a protector. Yes, he can he has a large health pool, but when you're doing these attacks constantly, I know the Overboard gives +10 health, but that's only when that ability goes off. If he has taunt up, he's going to be the one getting attacked. So does he have enough health to get through all that? Smite might be the one that's targeted with Eudora's ability to put him back on the bench so you can bring him back out with a little more health. It's definitely going to be an interesting dance, and I think they're going to be highly equipment
oriented. Yeah, I can see that. So.
And then the last mercenary we have is not a pirate. It is Cookie the Cook, a rare caster Murloc with 670 max stats, which is pretty good for a caster. So Murlocs now have a 4th option. I don't know how good of an option it's going to be for a Murloc comp, if it'll be worth doing. We'll talk about that more when we get through the abilities. But this is also a Murloc, not a pirate. So when you have Cookie the Cook on the board, all the pirate synergies they won't count for.
Right.
So that's something to be cognitive of.
But
so
it's important to note that while we're getting 4 pirates, Cookie makes the 4th Murloc.
That's true. I don't think that's necessarily going to be a hybrid comp we'd want to use, but yeah, it definitely is something to note. So let's get into the abilities. We have Fish Feast 5, which is a nature ability. Speed 2, deal 10 damage to an enemy. Death Blow, give +15 health to all friendly characters.
Yes.
That's a lot of health.
That is. And all
really
he has to do is land a death blow.
That's true. And it's 10 damage, which, can be boosted by nature. Maybe there's even room for Cookie inside a nature comp.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Then we have Cookie's Cooking 5, which is also a nature ability. Speed 5, cooldown 1. Bleed 5 to all enemies. Restore 5 health to friendly Murlocs and pirates. So this works with pirates and Murlocs.
And it's the second mercenary we've seen with a bleed ability.
That's true. And then we have Go Fish 5, also nature. Speed 4, cooldown 1. Summon a random fish for your opponent with a death rattle that benefits you.
I love this.
This is interesting, and this goes into the dungeon fight where he would throw almost like rancid type food at you. That was kind of cool. So I like the theme of this. We don't know what the death rattles are,
Right.
and it's probably going to be a pool of death rattles, so not always the same death rattle. So it kind of gives that randomness variable, whether you get the death rattle you want or not. Just off of the abilities, what do you think of Cookie?
So I know you and I have different takes on the Murloc comp in
Mm-hmm.
Mercs right now, but there's only the three. Cookie will be the fourth, but Morgul's ability on attack is to give all Murlocs +5 health. Cookie's ability gives +15 health to friendly characters on a death blow, and he restores 5 health to all friendly Murlocs and pirates. I think he is a really good support character that is going to only buff the Murloc team, and he can benefit the pirate team as well. I think he just fits in multiple places.
I think so too, but I think he's probably the extra in a lot of those teams. I honestly, I think in Pirates, I think he's going to be kind of a staple. I think he works well with what the Pirates want to bring. He
Mm-hmm.
needs that little extra health for characters like Mr. Smite. Uh, I think for Murlocs, he kind of does what Morgul does already, and you wouldn't want him and Morgul on the board. Maybe you use him
See,
as a fourth.
I think there's times where you would, because you would be able to out heal damage.
Maybe. Where I think he'd be better used than in a Murloc comp is a nature comp.
Yes, yes.
Because he does restore health to
All three
friendly
of his
Murlocs.
abilities are nature based.
Yes, and he restores 5 health to friendly Murlocs, not other friendly Murlocs. So that means he does restore health to himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he will be healing himself and applying those bleeds, which, if it's nature based, I don't know if the damage gets increased because of nature plus nature damage. If bleed is considered nature damage, I'm not sure. We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
But I think a nature comp, maybe there is a Murloc nature comp. Maybe you couple him with Guff and I wouldn't say Brucon, maybe Malfurion, along with the 3 other Murlocs, and maybe that's your Murloc nature comp. I'm really excited. I mean, obviously the other 4 characters are built for a pirate comp, and you got to find the extras to throw in with them. If you include Cookie, then you only need one other character, one other Merc.
Right.
But with Cookie goes with the pirates. He can go with Murlocs, and then you got to fill those other 2 slots. He could go with nature, and nature, I don't know if that gives nature a full 6, or it's at least 5 characters now that work well with nature. So I'm really excited to see where people put Cookie, because Cookie's the most flexible, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's get into the equipment.
Yeah.
We have a Seasoned Pan 4. Fish Feast gives +5 attack as well. So Fish Feast gives +15 health to all friendly characters on a death blow. Says Fish Feast gives +5 attack. Is that
mean
on the death blow? Or
Yeah.
just all the time?
So it would be anytime a death blow is dealt, all friendly characters would get +5 attack, +15 health.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't know if that was just all the time or just on death blow. Okay.
On death blow.
And then Iron Ladle 4, which is Cookie's cooking, restores an additional 5 health. So instead of 5 health to friendly Murlocs and pirates, it'll be 10 health.
Mm-hmm.
And then Appetizers 4, start of game, give friendly characters +9 health.
I think that is huge.
That's the one I'm expecting to be Task 7. And I think that's the one that makes him viable in a nature-based comp. Because that's friendly characters,
right?
9 health. Not Murlocs, not pirates, all characters. That's in that start of game, which, okay, so we've had some weird start of game stuff happening, but that start of game, I don't think that means you have to have him on your team, not necessarily uh, in the play. And if Eudora gets an automatic cannon as a battle cry, then it should also get the 9 health.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool.
That's true.
So yeah. So after we saw the 5 new mercs, what do you think about this kind of cadence? I mean, it may be too early to call it a cadence.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get 5 new characters every month. I think that would be expecting a lot.
We talked about it when we were, and maybe this not every month, maybe 5 new characters every cycle. So for every 4 months, that would be 15 characters a year.
That I think that would be fine.
Okay. So if we didn't get any more until, say, the mini set of the 3rd set this year, that would be a good cadence.
Which would probably be sometime in February.
Or late January.
Late January, February, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That's fair.
So, there's also 3 new bounties coming. And it's going to be High Lord Ornok, General Dracasath, and Rend Blackhand. All 3 new bounties will be added to the Blackrock Zone. The new Mercenaries cards, portraits, and coins will be available to be obtained through Mercenaries packs, similar to how mini-set cards are added to the expansion pack. So, if you have unopened Mercenaries packs,
save them.
Save them. Definitely.
So, this is also something we talked about before. We weren't sure. We knew the pre-order packs had Sylvanas, Diablo, and Lich King, and you were able to get those in packs on day 1. We weren't 100% sure if they were going to continue that trend. We said if they did, that would be a big benefit that other gacha style games, other hero collector games don't have.
Correct.
That usually when a new character comes out, you can only exclusively get them in bundles, and they don't get released into orbs or chests or packs, as this would be, until usually 3 weeks to 3 months, depending on the game. Mm-hmm. So we have 5 brand new Mercenaries that you can get out of packs the day 1 of the patch, and you can do all that with in-game currency without spending any real money.
Correct.
If this trend continues, this is the way this style of hero collector should be done, and I hope a lot of these other game studios take note. And I honestly hope that a lot of these other players of other games like that, like Marvel Strike Force and Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, hears about Mercenaries and decides to check it out. I know the communities I'm in, I've been preaching up Mercenaries. Some of those communities have former Hearthstone players in them, and hopefully we can start pulling some of those players over, and the other studios will say, oh, we need to start emulating what this game's doing because they're getting all our players. So
that would be good.
That would be very good. So we're gonna kind of run through quickly the rest of this update.
I wanna say I'm really excited about one thing, particularly in Battlegrounds. Actually, a couple of things, particularly in Battlegrounds.
So Battlegrounds is gonna get 3 new heroes. First one being Diablo.
Woo!
Diablo is getting Realm of Terror passive hero power. Passive, every 4 turns, all enemies fight the Lord of Terror and your warband for loot. I don't know how this works. It says Diablo is a special event character that will only be in Battlegrounds for a limited time. In that time, he will be equally available to all players, not just those who have Battlegrounds perks. So, if you don't have the Battlegrounds perk, you can still get Diablo.
So, here's what I think that means. Choice. Here's what I think that means. If you don't have Battlegrounds perks, you only have 2 choices for heroes at the beginning of a Battlegrounds. Whereas if you have perks, you have 4. So
Yeah.
what I think they're going to do is those initial two options are going to have a higher percentage chance to see Diablo than the outer two, that the other
makes
two
sense.
options. So your
makes
base
sense.
2 pick are going to always have a higher percentage chance of seeing Diablo.
Now, I don't know what this all enemies fight the Lord of Terror, if that means you can't get knocked out that round. I don't know what benefits Diablo gets from that. I don't know any of this.
Yeah, and
I'm-
it says, fight the Lord of Terror and your war band for loot. So what is the loot? Is it like the cards we've seen from what's his name? What's the Grand Master who gets the special cards?
I don't know.
Ticketus.
Ticketus. Oh, okay.
Is it kind of like the card, the prize stuff you get from Ticketus? Don't know.
Maybe. It's really interesting. Do you have different pool of? There's not any different ones. I don't know. This is going to be very, very interesting. I can't wait to play with it. I don't have my second job on Wednesday, so I'm probably going to be playing Battlegrounds at least that day before I jump into a lot of the Merc stuff. So
yeah,
and even the mini set. There's just so much to do this patch. The next character that's becoming a Battlegrounds character is Sneed. The ability is Sneed's Replicator, cost 1. Give a friendly minion death rattle, summon a random minion of the same tier. So that's cool. That's kind of like
so every
Paladin
turn.
Shredder.
Is it every turn you can give a friendly minion, or is this like George, where you can use it every turn to give a random minion this, and then as they die, you summon a random minion? I mean, I don't know.
So the way I'm reading it is give a friendly minion death rattle, summon a random minion of the same tier. So eventually you could give your entire warband one of those.
Okay.
Now it only summons that random minion in combat, so you're not going to keep it.
Okay, right. You're not going to keep the minion, but like what I'm saying is, how George, you can give every minion in your warband Divine Shield. Can you give every minion in your warband this ability?
I think so, and that makes this really strong.
Yeah.
Especially if you start getting tier 6 and you play this tier 6 and immediately play this on them. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you play a minion, you use the hero power and on the highest tier minion that you get that turn.
Right.
So and eventually all of your minions will have some kind of death rattle. There will be some board space issues, and you won't want to prioritize other minions that already have summons. So this wouldn't be great in a demon comp or anything like that. But man, it's strong.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. All right, and then our last new hero is Cookie the Cook.
This is what you're excited about.
Yeah, his ability is really interesting. It's Stir the Pot, and it's 0 cost. Throw a minion in your pot. When you've gathered 3, discover another minion from among their minion types. So basically each turn you pick a minion and toss it in the pot, and then when you have 3, it will give you a discover of another minion from among the types that you threw in the pot. So if you threw 3 pirates in the pot, you're going to get to choose one of 3 pirates. If you've thrown a pirate, a mech, and an elemental, you'll choose one of each. You'll choose one of those from each of those tops. I think it's a really interesting mechanic.
Yeah, and it's really weird economy because you're not selling that minion, so you're not getting a gold for it. So you're missing out on a total of 3 gold, 1 for each minion. But then you get a minion, which is also equal to 3 gold.
Correct.
So obviously you want to pick minions that maybe they have battle cry buffs and their stats aren't great. So you play the minion and to get the buff, and then you eat it with Stir the Pot. You throw it in the pot just to kind of, I think in Pirates it's going to be really good because you have a lot of pirates. You just want to throw that pirate out to buff up like your salty, whatever it is. I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember the salty pirate. Uh, whenever so he gets the buff, and then you just toss it in the pot so you get more pirates later. I like it. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I like it.
Yeah, I like it as well. We'll have to, like you said, we'll have to wait and see. Um,
Now it
there's
says here, players with the Battlegrounds perk will have access to Sneed and Cookie, the cook, before they're formally released on the 16th. So 16th, which is not far away.
no.
Usually it's almost a month, but this time it's only like 2 weeks, and then they'll be live to everybody. Now remember, Diablo is accessible by anybody who plays Battlegrounds, regardless whether you have the perks or not.
Correct.
The next thing is duels is getting some updates. When the patch goes live on November 2nd, all players' duels ratings will be reset, and the pool of eligible cards you can use to build your 15 cards starter deck will be updated to include cards from Deadmines mini set. And also, 21.6 will be the first time that players with active heroic runs are cashed out for rewards based on their run progress. So just like with arenas before, you'll get cashed out based on how many wins you have, and then you'll get a tavern ticket to replace it, so you get a free run.
Yeah, and it's. I want to point out they are also adding a limited time new hero to duels that you can choose from. That you'll get the power, the ability to choose from. Diablo is coming to duels as well.
Diablo's everywhere. It's great.
Yes, and so Diablo will be duel's first dual class character, combining Warlock and Warrior card pools and effects.
So you'll be able to build Diablo with Warrior and Warlock cards as well as neutral cards.
I absolutely love that they're testing out this ability in duels.
This is going to be neat. Now, if you want the full breakdown of all of Diablo's abilities and treasures and all of that stuff, we'll have a link to the show notes. That's a lot to go over this episode. There's also a lot of duels, changes, and balances. And
we're already almost an hour into this show.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten into the card review. Now, aside from the duels changes and temporary duel stuff, there are going to be... the arena is going to have a new rotation, and there's a list of that's going to be in the show notes. Battle ready decks are returning, so available in the shop for a limited time. You'll be able to purchase Rogue, Druid, Hunter, or Paladin. I don't have a list of the decks yet, but those will be released on the 2nd. Booker Mercenaries Carriel is coming November the 9th, so a week after the patch. And then there's a whole list of balance bug fixes and improvements. A lot of it with mercenaries and cards not doing things right. That's the patch notes. It's a big patch.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
It's I'm surprised. Now a lot of this might be because we were supposed to see mercenaries back in February, and then July, and then August, and then they said they're going to announce something in August. Late August, they told us it's going to be.
So yeah, let's kind of talk about that real quick. So we were originally supposed to get it in February. We ended up getting it in we got it in October.
Yeah.
So that's almost 10 months, right?
Yeah.
So they launched with 51 mercenaries. They have 5 more ready to go a month later. How many mercenaries do you think Team 5 has actually already built and scoped out?
I wouldn't be surprised if they have a full year's already banked and they're working on more. So depends how many they're planning to do per year. If they are indeed trying to do the 5 per set rotation, maybe around mini set time or in that vein, maybe right before mini set. You have set, then you have battleground stuff, then you have mercenaries, then you have mini set. Then that means they probably have at least 15 stocked, and this is 5 of them.
Yeah,
and they're continually working on them. So
Yeah.
and we may see special event ones. We may see the Wintervale seasonal ones. There's going to be a lot of possibility for characters and mercenaries. Also, we've learned that they're willing to pull outside the box from Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
So we may eventually see that, kind of like what Heroes of the Storm did, pull from multiple IPs.
I would love that.
We've also heard of multiple Blizzard employees, and a lot from Team 5, going to an unannounced project.
Uh-huh.
I believe Alec Dawson is the most recent of that pool of
Correct.
Team 5 members that have gone to an unannounced project. If that announced project finally debuts and we get characters that are associated with that IP, maybe as a promo, we get one of those characters as a mercenary.
Okay.
So the options are unlimited at this point.
Yeah.
Not to mention all the
I'm
brand
really
new Hearthstone
stoked about the
characters.
future of Mercenaries.
I am too. I know there's two camps. There's those people that love it, and there's those people that could live without mercenaries.
Inside you, there are two mercenaries.
Yeah. I'm red pilling the mercenaries mode.
Yeah.
I am going all in. I'm loving mercenaries. I enjoy the gameplay. I'm excited for PvP. I've not gone heavy into PvP yet because I'm still working on my characters. I want to get all my characters maxed as much as I can do, or at least the ones that are important to me, so that I can focus on new characters when they come out. That's the way I play these games. And so far, Mercenaries seems to be the best hero collector game that I've played.
Yeah, I agree with that. Look, my 18-year-old who plays Hearthstone sporadically at best has been absolutely hooked on Mercenaries since it dropped.
It's great.
He
plays
has
the
cussed
other...
me up one side and down the other, like, Dad, I can't believe I'm spending so much time playing Mercenaries, but I love it. I'm just like, yeah.
Well, I mean, he also loves the other hero collector games. We played them together, Marvel Strike Force, and I know he's gotten into those other ones, those Genshin Impact and other ones we played. And this seems to be the only one that's holding his attention.
Yep.
And I do think the reason is the no energy system. I know I keep beating this to death, but when you have a game like that you don't have to log in specific times and collect your energy, and you just play whatever you want, however you want, it's great.
You know, if the no energy system was a mine, you'd have beat it to the Deadmines.
Oh. Speaking of Deadmines,
let's roll on because we've got a card review to do.
So as a reminder, for those that normally listen to us, if you are listening to us on audio, stick around. We're not doing a play portion this week. If you're watching us on YouTube or on our website at heropowerhs.com, just also stick around. We're about to go into these cards, and we will have them up on the screen. For our audio listeners, we're going to do the best we can to describe all the cards in detail, as well as the video viewers can, see
follow
the images
along
up on the screen. Yeah.
That's right. All right, so let's jump right into this. We are going to start with the Demon Hunter common cards. First up, we have Crow's Nest Lookout. So this is a 3-mana, 2/2 demon. Battle Cry, deal 2 damage to the left and rightmost enemy minions. So when you play this, it's going to deal 2 damage to both ends of the enemy minion board.
And if there is only 1 minion on the board, it will do 4 damage.
Correct.
That's important to note, because a lot of times with these type of cards, they depreciate in value if you go against a wide board or a tall board. It gets the same value either way. This is pretty big. It's anti aggro, but at the same time, it fits in an aggro deck.
Yeah.
You normally don't want to play 3 mana for a 2/2, usually, but a 3 mana for a 2/2 that does 4 damage is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. Next up, we have a Demon Hunter spell, Need for Greed. This is a 5 mana. It is tradable. Draw 3 cards. If drawn this turn, it only costs 3. So, yeah, go ahead.
This goes right into the quest line Demon Hunter.
Yes, it does. That's exactly what I was going to say.
If you trade this and you draw the other copy of Need for Greed, then you can play it for 2 mana. And that is going to be a total of 4 cards drawn to go towards your quest.
Yep.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And tradable cards have some really unique tradable effects that I really like what they've done with this mini set. We'll go into it more when we see more tradable cards.
All right. Next up, we have a Demon Hunter rare. This is Proving Grounds. It is a spell, 6 mana. Summon 2 minions from your deck. They fight.
This is weird. So this is Death Rattle Demon Hunter.
Yes.
So you get 2 Death Rattles, they fight each other, they die, and then the effects happen.
They
now, so far,
their Death Rattle.
The Death Rattle Demon Hunters summon other minions from your hand. So I don't know if you want to invest 6 mana to kill off your own minions, shortening your deck by 2, and then just summoning your minions from your hand, which is thinning your deck. So it really depends on what Death Rattles are going to be out there.
Yeah.
That you want to... It's going to change the landscape of Death Rattle Demon Hunter, in my opinion. So I don't think it's good.
I'm not high
like
on this
John
card
Bray,
either. So
somebody like John Bray is going to make this card broken and have some kind of sick combo.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Druid common cards. Now, I love this.
This is a 1 Druid common card.
It's 1 Druid common that transforms. So it's Druid of the Reef. It's a 1 mana 1/1 with a choose 1 ability. Transform into a 3/1 shark with rush, or a 1/3 turtle with taunt. So yeah,
this is great.
This is a fantastic 1 mana card, because I mean, turn 1 1/3 taunt, or a turn 1 3/1 beast that can attack for 3 on turn 2. I mean, it's just good.
And both of the transforms are beasts, so there can be some beast synergies if you do that.
And I want to shout out Gromok in our Hero Power patron community, because he when this card dropped this week, he shared it along with the Nirvana album cover of the baby in the pool, and now I can't unsee this Druid as the Nirvana album cover.
Yeah, I can't either. I don't want to shout out Gromok for putting that in my head.
All right, moving on to Druid rare cards. We have 2 here. So first up, we have the Jerry Rig Carpenter. It's a 2 mana 2/1 pirate. Battle cry. Draw a choose 1 spell and split it.
This is interesting because it's targeted draw.
I love this. So again, back to my 18-year-old who only plays Mercenaries, but when he does have to get on ladder, he plays Jade Idol Druid in Wild.
Ooh.
And he was like, Dad, this card is so good in that deck. And I'm like, holy crap, yes it is.
It's going to be good in Wild. I'm wondering how good it's going to be in Standard, because so far, right now in Standard, This mini set's not giving us any other choose one spells. Again,
Correct.
this is spell only. It's not minions.
Right. You can't
You
split
have
the 1/1 druid we just talked about.
you have 5 spells. You have Sow the Soil, which is give your minions +1 attack or summon a 2/2 treant. You have Power of the Wild, which we know what that is. We have Feral Rage, Nourish, and Runic Carvings. So you draw that and then split it, which you don't keep the original. It turns into 2 cards. So it does increase your hand size.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a lot of really good choose one spells in Standard right now. So in Standard, I think it's really going to be dependent on what we see out of the 3rd set this year and sets next year. But in Wild, I was going to bring it up, and you already did. It's going to be really good in Jade Druid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because you could specifically only put that choose one spell in there, and it will always draw it.
I also want to point out here, this is a pirate in the Druid class.
It is a pirate.
They're
interesting.
To this point, because my son and I were talking about this on a car ride the other day when they were releasing these cards. We were looking at them in real time and discussing them, and I had him look it up because I was curious. Prior to this, all pirate tribes had been warrior, rogue, or neutral. There were no other pirates in any other class.
Which means that kind of waters down the pool for the Questline Warrior. Because now this 2/1 could get summoned off the Juggernaut.
Correct.
Which lowers the value of that card.
It does a little bit.
You don't want a 2/1 because that just summons a random pirate. Doesn't say discover. It's not of your class or neutral, so it could get you a 2/1, which isn't that great.
Yep. Next we have a rare arcane spell, Moonlit Guidance. So this is a 2 mana. Discover a copy of a card in your deck. If you play it this turn, draw the original copy out of your deck.
That's interesting.
So if you play this for 2, you draw a 3 mana spell or something, you play it that turn, you're going to replace it with the card out of your deck. So you could draw something you need, and it's a copy. So you could potentially still have 2 copies in your deck. You'll play it and draw another one to be able to maybe play it again next turn, or even this turn if you have enough mana.
The biggest problem is this might be really good in like a token druid.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of your stuff is low cost. You can kind of pump things out and it gives you extra resources. So basically it's like putting a 3rd copy of a card in your deck, or a 4th if you put 2 copies of this in there.
Yeah.
Where I think it's interesting is in a Celestial Alignment deck. If you Celestial Alignment and then you next turn you play this, draw a 1-cost card because they're all going to be 1 cost. Then you play it, then you draw you draw the copy.
Mm-hmm.
So you could get some really big, powerful, 8-9 drop cards for obviously 1, and then you're getting a 3rd copy of it essentially in your deck.
Right.
So it has some possibilities. Somebody that's smarter than me is going to figure out how to capitalize on this.
All right, we're moving on to Hunter.
And our first parrot.
Yes. So, Hunter Common cards, we have the Monstrous Parrot. So this is a 4 mana, 3/4 beast. Battle cry, repeat the last friendly death rattle that triggered. It doesn't say triggered this turn. It just says repeat the last friendly death rattle that triggered.
Yes. I'm wondering how this works with the Rat King. Because I play a Rat King deck that Funky Monkey posted, and it's a lot of fun. I don't know how would it just make this one dormant. I don't know. It's going to be weird. Though there's lots of different death rattles. One thing you're also going to notice is all the parrots for each. I think there's a 4 or there might be 5. I can't remember. They all repeat something. So parrots will repeat what you say. So they repeat something that's based on that class. I think it's a great theme. I love it. And parrots and pirates go hand in hand.
Exactly. Speaking of pirates, Defias Blastfisher.
Defias, oh gosh.
Blastfisher. It is a 5 mana, 3/2 pirate. Battle cry. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Repeat for each of your beasts. So, it's a pirate in Hunter that has beast synergies.
Yeah, the problem is it's not often that you have beasts live till the next turn, and this is 5 mana, so you essentially want to play it alongside other beasts. Now, obviously, you have like Wolpertinger. You play Wolpertinger, and then with 6 mana, with the other 5, this will do 2 damage to two random enemies. This is random enemies that can go face. Something important to note.
Yes.
I don't know how good this is going to be, but again, we talked about it before. This is a 3/2 pirate, which is decent, that can get summoned in the pirate pool for the warrior quest line. I'm going to keep saying that when we see some understated pirates in other classes. It makes that quest line worse.
Okay. Moving on to the Hunter Rare. Here we have the Doggie Biscuit.
Yes.
So this is a 2 mana spell. Tradable. Give a minion +2/+3. After you trade this, give a friendly minion rush. So, if you have this card, it's a 2 mana, give a minion +2/+3. If you have traded this at least once in the game, it will also give them rush when you play it.
Oh, is that how it is? Okay.
That's the way I'm understanding it. Because it says, after you trade this, give a friendly minion rush. So maybe it's just give a minion +2/+3, and if you trade this in, a random friendly minion on your board gets rushed. I don't know.
Yeah, see, it doesn't say random. Do you get to target this? This is interesting. I'm not sure. I'm kind of confused on how this is going to interact. If every time you trade this, a random friendly minion gets rushed, that's going to be pretty crazy. Because that's 1 mana to give a minion rush. We'll just have to see. But if the way I'm interpreting it's right, this card's going to be really good. Draw at all in Hunter is good.
Yeah.
Whether it changes the type of Hunter we play, we'll have to see.
All right. Next up, we are looking at the Mage Commons, including the Gray Sage Parrot. So this is an 8 mana, 6/6 beast. It's huge.
It is huge.
Battle cry.
It's a fat parrot.
Repeat the last spell you've cast that cost 5 or more.
He fills the entire crow's nest.
He does. It is a big parrot.
I'm sorry, the art's killing me. So right now we're not seeing a mage deck that wants to prioritize high cost spells. And there's nothing out of the mini set that also really wants us to prioritize high cost spells. There is a 5 cost spell, which we'll talk about in the next slide. I don't think it's good enough to warrant Gray Sage Parrot, but Gray Sage Parrot may be one of those we had Turtle Mage for a while that turtle just wasn't getting used,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden, it had a use. So maybe Gray Sage gets used sometime next year when some crazy combo comes in.
Okay. Next up, we have 2 Mage Rares. First up is the Deepwater Evoker. So this is a 4 mana, 3/4 Pirate Mage. Battle Cry, draw a spell, gain armor equal to its cost. I think this card is great because it's going to target draw a spell from your deck, and you're going to get armor as a mage.
Yeah, it's healing. So, I mean, even if you're not going to draw a high cost spell, it's some kind of healing, which can throw off your opponent's game plan. Even if you're getting like 2 or 3 armor off of a low cost spell, it's, I mean, 4 mana for a 3/4 that draws you a spell and gives you any kind of armor, even if it's just 2 or 3 armor, is going to be good value.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to go back to it. This is a 3/4 pirate. This is kind of the base stat you want to summon off the Juggernaut, at least 3/4 or higher. Right. So this is kind of baseline for that Warrior quest line.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have a rare spell, Arcane Overflow. It is a 5 mana arcane spell. Deal 8 damage to an enemy minion. Summon a remnant with stats equal to the excess damage. So if you target a 1 health minion with this, it's going to summon a 7/7 remnant.
Or a 10/10 remnant.
Or a 10/10.
If you finish the Mage quest line.
Yeah, there you go.
So Mage quest line can use this as removal, but also build board presence. Obviously, it's an arcane spell, so it can go into an arcane slot that you would normally use for removal, and it will qualify that part of the quest line. But once the quest's finished, you could use this as removal and board pressure.
Yes.
Does that mean it's good? I don't know. 5 mana is a lot.
5 mana is a lot.
We used to also run the 5 mana burn spell that, or it might be 6 mana burn spell that summoned a minion if you had no minions in your deck.
But I mean, turn 4 Deepwater Evoker, draw an Arcane Overflow, gain 5 armor. Next turn, who knows?
I think in the deck I'm talking about, you're running no minions.
I gotcha.
But I like where your head's at.
So, all right. Moving on, we have the Paladin Common, the Sunwing Squawker. This is a 4 mana, 3/4 beast. Battle Cry. Repeat the last spell you've cast on a friendly minion on this. So whatever the last spell you cast on a minion was will automatically be cast on this Sunwing Squawker as well.
Imagine if that's Libram of Hope.
Yeah.
I mean, that means that you need to invest in casting a Libram of Hope on a friendly minion.
Right.
You usually don't want to do that. But this is a last spell you cast on a friendly minion, not this turn, just period.
Period.
So if the previous turn you need to do value trades and cast Libram of Hope on a taunt, then you're going to play this and summon an 8/8 taunt with Divine Shield. Also, this gives you more Librams. Yes. Librams of Wisdom, specifically. And this is the last spell you cast on a friendly minion, so you can still do the other Librams that don't target minions, and it's not going to throw this off. Like Libram of Justice.
Yeah.
You can still play Libram of Justice, and it's not going to mess up Squawker.
Correct.
This is good. Also, Hand of Adal. Mm-hmm. It's going to give this +2/+1, but it will also draw you a card. So it could be card draw. So
yeah,
really, I I like this.
I like it as well. Next
good.
up, we have Paladin Rares, and my son loved both of these cards. I'm just gonna throw that out there now. So first up, we have the rare minion Wealth Redistributor.
I love the name.
He is a 5 mana 2/8 pirate. Taunt and Battle Cry. Swap the attack of the highest and lowest attack minions. He was like, Dad, what if you play this and the 2 health is the lowest and they have an 8/8 dragon? Now you've got an 8/8 taunt and they've got a 2/8 dragon. I was like, yep, pretty much.
Or if you can hero power before Wealth Redistributor, and then that dude becomes like an 8/1.
Yeah.
And they got a 1/8 or whatever it is. So
yeah,
I like this also, and I'm gonna keep bringing it up. This is a 2/8 taunt that can come off the Juggernaut in Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Yes.
Any kind of taunt coming off of Juggernaut is good.
So, next up, we have a Paladin Holy Spell, Righteous Defense. 3 mana, Holy Spell, set a minion's attack and health to 1, give the stats it lost to a minion in your hand.
Yeah, so the 1/1 holy minion that draws a holy spell will draw this.
Correct.
This is hand buffing. Carrier will reduce the cost of this card. This is just good. It's
I agree.
Great value card that also hand buffs.
Yeah, I agree. This is just good. All right. Next up, we have Priest Commons. We have the Defias Leper. You like how I did that? It's a 2 mana 3/2 pirate. Battle Cry. If you're holding a shadow spell, deal 2 damage.
I mean, it's good.
I mean, it slots into Shadow Priest, and it's a 2 damage, direct damage with a body.
And it's proactive synergy, not reactive synergy. It has synergy before you play your cards, is what I mean. So you can play this on 2 knowing you have a turn 3 shadow spell available. You don't have to wait until you can play the shadow spell along with this.
Right.
So this is just a proactive game plan. Also, Shadow Priest is not bad. It's not being played much right now because of Elusia's being nerfed, but I honestly think it's still a very good deck.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. And it's a 3/2 aggressive stat on for the quest for Warrior. It's not great stats, but it's if you'd rather have a 3/2 than a 2/3 in most cases.
Correct. All right. Next up, we have a common spell, the Amulet of Undying. This is a 3 mana shadow spell. It is tradable. Resurrect 1 friendly Death Rattle minion. Upgrades when traded. I'm going to be straight up. This may be the best card in the, or one of the best cards we've seen in this mini set.
This may get nerfed. I could see this being 5 cost. This is now. I'm assuming it says upgrades when traded. We know it goes from resurrect 1 friendly to resurrect 2, then resurrect 3.
Right.
I'm assuming it stops at 3.
We hope,
but we don't know that.
Because I mean, if you go late game and you just keep trading this, who's to say you can't get to resurrect 6?
Now, I think it's designed to go in a Shadow Priest, which is an aggressive style. So you're gonna be resurrecting aggressive, low-cost minions.
Mm-hmm.
But this could go in a control style deck that wants draw. I mean, this is draw because of the tradable, and every time you trade it, you're gonna, maybe you're trying to get big minions or cheat out big beefy minions, or just put them in play that maybe they have death rattles, and then later after you're done using it for card draw, you 3 mana and you get maybe 3 or more. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Resurrect. We'll just say 3 is the cap. If 3 is a cap, it's an amazing card and probably needs to be nerfed.
If there's
it's
no
more
cap,
than 3, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Res Priest is going to be hated once again.
Wait, there was a time it wasn't?
When it wasn't being played.
Okay. Next up, we have a Priest Rare. It is a 3 mana, 3/4 beast, the Copycat. Battle Cry. Add a copy of the next card your opponent plays to your hand.
This is interesting because this is preemptive counter tech. So if your opponent's going to play a card that's going to win them the game, this does not help you.
Right.
But if they're playing a card that sets up a win condition, like a Celestial Alignment, like maybe a big taunt, or maybe a Libram of Hope to sustain themselves, then you play this and they're going to go, ooh, I can't do that this turn.
Right.
Without playing a filler card before.
It's disruption.
Yes. So if you know your opponent does a specific thing that really hurts you on turn 8 with 8 mana, and they don't have the coin at their disposal, or any low-cost stuff at their, like a 0 cost at their disposal, you play this on 8, or going into their turn 8, and then if all they have to do is that 8 cost card, they have to wait a turn.
Yeah.
Unless it's going to win them the game.
Right.
So I like this disruption. Now, does it go in every scenario in every game? No. But if you have a priest deck that gets targeted by maybe a specific deck beats it, maybe a certain combo or control style deck, then you can slot this in to raise the win rate, and you may not reduce the win rate versus your good matchups by much.
Yeah.
So maybe it's worth putting it in there.
Maybe. All right. Moving on to Rogue. We have a Rogue Common. This is the first weapon we've seen in this mini set. It is the Blackwater Cutlass. So, again, huge throwback to Deadmines in WoW. This was one of the better weapons that you could get as a random drop in the dungeon. Blackwater Cutlass, 1 mana, 2/2, tradable. After you trade this, reduce the cost of a spell in your hand by 1. As if Rogue needed a way to make spells cheaper anyway.
This is a good card. I love what they're doing with the tradable mechanic, and they made this very appealing to trade.
Yeah.
But the problem with the tradable mechanic is, for this card, is that you have a lot of 0 cost spells, and maybe you're not going to have a spell that can be reduced anymore in your hand.
That's true.
However, this is a 1 mana 2/2 weapon in a class that has weapon synergies. And an aggressive weapon rogue having 2 mana at your disposal on turn 1 and turn 2 for no additional mana investment is pretty big.
Yeah.
I don't think this gets played because of the tradable. I think it gets played because of the being a 1 mana 2/2 weapon. And if you happen to draw the second,
yeah.
And if you happen to draw the second copy, you're not punished because you can just trade it out.
Right.
Or if you happen to draw your good weapons, you just trade this out until you've used up those good weapons.
Yeah.
It just it takes away the drawback of having too many weapons in your deck.
Yeah.
This is the upgraded hero power too. 2/2 weapon for half the cost.
All right. Next up, we have a rogue rare spell, Parlay. It's a 1 mana. Swap this for a card in your opponent's deck.
I don't know how to value this card. I love that it exists. So if you know you're going to be one of your bad matchups or maybe in a tournament setting, a best of 5 conquest, you know that people are going to bring combo style decks. You could steal their combo.
Yes.
And they won't ever get it back.
That's correct.
You could steal a key card and they won't ever get it back.
Because that card
if it's in their deck.
Goes into your hand.
Yeah, not into your deck. Now, they get this card in their deck.
So they can do it to you eventually.
They can do it to you and get a card out of your deck, then putting this back in your deck. But they can't get their card back because now it's in your hand.
Correct.
The problem is when is this going to be impactful in a game? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard.
There's going to have to be a specific combo. You know, now maybe if Spell Mage is the big thing, you could take, I forget what it's called, the 2 mana, is it Frostfire? No. The 2 mana fire spell that shuffles a copy back into your deck and increases the damage. Ignite, yeah. So maybe you take their Ignite.
Yeah.
And now they don't have that endless damage.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a use case.
Okay.
But do you want to put this in your deck for that specific counter?
See, now here's the catch with that.
Maybe.
Because if you do that, when you cast Ignite, it goes back into your deck. They have a chance to get it back.
They can take it back. That's true. In that case, you probably just want to hang on to it.
Yeah.
And not play it and let them fatigue.
Yeah.
At that point.
All right, moving on to Shaman, we have the Brilliant Macaw. So this is a common, 3 mana, 3/3 beast, battle cry. Repeat the last battle cry you played. Of course, we know battle cry Shaman. There's a lot of battle cries out there.
Yeah, I think this might be the strongest Macaw we've seen so far, or the strongest parrot we've seen so far.
Yeah.
He also looks the most majestic. He is literally piloting that ship.
Yes, he is.
He is the captain. I love the color scheme on this card. But repeat the last battle cry you played. I mean, Shaman's good with battle cries. Wait a minute. No, I guess that wouldn't work. The questline reward, Rukan, that just casts your spells twice, so playing that battle cry a second time won't make it 3 times. It just be twice
Correct.
again.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be. I'm trying to think of a card that gets the most benefit out of this. I mean, obviously, in wild Shutterwalk decks, but do they even need anything like this? I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I think this is gonna be strong.
I agree. Moving to the Shaman Rare, we have Sucker Hook. So this is a 4 mana, 3/6 pirate. At the end of your turn, transform your weapon into one that costs 1 more. So if this was any class other than Shaman, I would say, wow, this could be really good. But the Shaman weapons are pretty specific on what they do and why you play them. You don't really want them upgrading.
It's true. I agree. I don't think that it's going to be that good. Now, mind you, if you play this early enough in a weapon-heavy Shaman, which right now we don't have, it's going to keep upgrading every turn as long as it stays in play.
Correct.
Whether that can happen or not, we don't know. You want to usually assume that minions like this, especially end of turn minions, and this is end of turn, not beginning of turn, so it's going to get the value the first time. You assume they're going to be killed. So I don't think it's that good. Furthermore, this is a good body to get off Juggernaut in Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
However, the end of turn effect doesn't really benefit you because the Juggernaut gives you a new weapon every turn anyways.
Right.
So, and that's, I mean, the 3/6 body's going to be good, but the actual text on it's not really going to help you in that scenario. I don't think it's that good. I obviously the only real weapon-based Shaman we have is the Evolved Shaman, and you don't want to change that weapon.
Correct. So, all right. Moving on to Warlock Commons, we have Shadowblade Slinger. This is a 1-mana, 2/1 pirate. Battle Cry, if you've taken damage this turn, deal that much to an enemy minion. So, turn 3,
I don't know.
hero power, play this, ping something for 2, maybe remove an early minion, and you still have board presence.
Yeah, maybe this is to help Zoo out, because possible that Zoo benefits from this.
Yeah.
It's removal and a body. It's not a great body, but it doesn't have demon synergies or anything.
Right.
I wouldn't say. I don't think it'd be that good in the quest line Warlock because it's a little more specific and it has lots of removal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Zoo's going to be a thing, and maybe it is. This will work, but I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah. All right. Moving on, we have Wicked Shipment. This is a 1-mana common spell. Tradable. Summon 2 1/1 imps. Upgrades by 2 when traded. So I'm assuming when you trade it, it summons 2 3/3 imps. And then 2 5/5 imps.
No, I believe it goes from 2 1/1 imps to 4 1/1 imps, and then 6 1/1 imps.
Interesting. Okay.
I might actually be able to. Before I couldn't get the details on it because they didn't have all the details on the website, but they might by now.
Okay.
So let me see if I can find that. It's called Wicked Shipment.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, Wicked Shipment, tradable. It doesn't show what it upgrades to.
Okay.
But the related cards only shows 1/1 imps.
Okay.
So I think it goes from 2 1/1 imps to 4 1/1 imps to 6 1/1 imps.
Okay.
To filling up your board at that point after that.
Right.
So if Zoo is going to be a thing, this is a Wappletinger right out the box. It's 1 mana for 2 1/1 imps. That's good. Now, whether it's good enough to make Zoo a deck again, I don't know.
Yeah.
There are some demon synergies, but so far they're not all that great.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have a Warlock Rare, the Hull Breaker. This is a 4-mana, 4/3 demon. Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Draw a spell. Your hero takes damage equal to its cost.
Yeah, and this is targeted draw spell. Now,
It is.
You could put this in the quest line Warlock, and it will help you further the quest because you're taking damage on your turn. However, the Death Rattle, if it happens on your opponent's turn, won't advance your quest. That's something to take note. It's only if you're able to kill it on your turn.
Yeah.
Maybe, 4 mana, 4/3 isn't great stats. This could go in a Zoo if you have spells you care about in Zoo. And if you Wicked Shipment, trade it, it goes in your deck, and then the next turn you can play the Hull Breaker, and it's guaranteed to draw your Wicked Shipment. Maybe it's your only spell. You only take 1 damage, and now it's been upgraded, and I don't know. It's maybe you trade it again, then it draws it again. There might be something with targeted draw in a Zoo deck.
Yeah.
But so far, Zoo's been really bad lately.
It's not been great, that's for sure. All right, moving on to Warrior Commons. First up, we have a common spell, Man the Cannons. So this is a 2 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion, and 1 damage to all other minions. So that's your minions as well.
That's true. I think where this goes is right now we're using is it Minefield? 2 mana for 5 random damage.
Yeah.
And the way that the token / taunt druid is right now, by the time you play that on 2, sometimes they have a pretty decent sized board with taunts in the way. This targets a specific one and does 1 damage across the board. Could get rid of any tokens that were summoned or 1 health minions that were summoned. So I think this just is replaces Minefield as good removal against a token strategy, maybe a face hunter or that taunt token druid, which neither of them aren't always real prevalent in the meta, but it would be good against them.
Yeah. All right, next up we have Defias Cannoneer. So this is a 3 mana 3/3 pirate. After your hero attacks, deal 2 damage to a random enemy twice. See, these are the kind of pirates you want to see in Warrior.
I think this specific pirate is the one pirate that's going to make Questline Warrior
great again.
Viable. I mean, it's been playable, but it's not been viable. This will make it viable because if you maybe play this and draw into a low cost weapon, play it and attack, then all of a sudden you got 2 more damage on top of that. Deals 2 damage to a random enemy. It can go face.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's the pirate that gives you +2 attack. It doesn't say you have to attack with a weapon. It just says attack.
That's true.
So yeah, I think it's great.
Next up, we have a Warrior Rare. This is our second weapon in the mini set, the Blacksmithing Hammer. So this is a 4 mana, 5 attack, 1 durability, tradable. After you trade this, gain +2 durability. So after
sick.
you trade this, it becomes a 4 mana 5/3.
Yeah, so you can trade this early, and then you can play the pirate that reduces the cost of a weapon. You can play, any other pirates for your quest line. This gets drawn, and now it's likely going to be a 4 mana, maybe even a 3 mana, or 2 mana.
Yeah,
depending on how many of those weapon reduction pirates you're able to play. 5/3. That's 15 damage right there, and that's only trading it 1 time.
Yeah, I like this weapon. We'll have to see if it gets played.
I think Pirate Warrior is going to be the new evil.
Yep. All right. That brings us
Neutrals.
to neutrals. So, first up, this card. I love this card. The Galaka Glutton.
Glutton.
Yeah, Galaka Glutton. 3 mana, 2/3 pirate, battle cry, destroy a beast, and gain +1/+1. So, I know everybody remembers the Galaka Crawler.
This eats a Galaka Crawler.
It does.
So, you play a pirate. The Galaka Crawler eats the pirate. gets bigger. Then the Galaka Glutton eats the Galaka Crawler that just ate a pirate. Does that make it a cannibal?
It's
Or a carnivore? Or both?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, I talk about it. Random pirates off of your Juggernaut, you really don't want to see a 2/3. But if you do think that parrots are going to be pretty viable, and a lot of classes are getting some form of beasts right now, and if you think those are going to be in the meta, you play this, and you have a 3-mana 3/4, which is, base stats.
Yeah.
That also qualifies for your quest line.
Absolutely.
In Warrior. In other classes, maybe you run this alongside your beast. You play beasts that give specific battle cries, and then you play a Wampletinger, and then eat one of the Wampletingers for a 3/4.
Yep.
Maybe you eat your Rat King, and then do a bunch of trades to resummon your Rat King. In Hunter, I mean,
there's options, yeah.
Maybe you throw it in a token druid with some beast energy in it, and it eats your squirrels that summon more squirrels into your decks, and now you have a 3/4 that then you've activated that death rattle.
So all right,
it's a good card.
It is. Next up, we have a neutral rare. The Multicaster, 4 mana, 3/4 pirate, battle cry, draw a card for each different spell school you've cast this game. Tell me this is not tailor-made for the Mage quest, where you have to play a Frost, a Fire, and an Arcane.
And this might be their way of trying to urge us to continue playing the Mage quest, but put minions in the deck. Is this enough? I'm not sure it is.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's not bad.
But it's not good.
I mean, you're guaranteed...
In most decks, you might draw 1 card.
What?
In most decks, you might draw 1.
In most decks,
yes. In that deck,
you're going to draw 3 cards.
Yes, but you have to... You lose the synergies of being no minion.
Well, not all Quest Mage decks have been no minion mage.
The good ones have. I mean, Refreshing Springwater is the first thing you think of. Do you play Refreshing Springwater when there's a possibility of not getting 4 mana back?
Depends on the situation. A lot of times, sometimes you do.
But why put it in your deck if you're going to put a bunch of minions in? Even if it's like only 4 to 6 minions, you still could pay 5 mana to not get any mana back and continue playing that turn. So Refreshing Springwater probably gets cut and you put Multicaster in its place. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll have to see. Next up, we have a neutral epic. It is the Maddest Bomber. It has only taken 6 years to go from the Mad Bomber to the Madder Bomber to the Maddest Bomber. It is an 8 mana, 9/8 battle cry. Deal 12 damage randomly split among all other characters. You know what I see when I see this? 12 damage straight to my face.
Yep.
And if I play this, it's 12 damage to my face. If my opponent plays this, it's 12 damage straight to my face.
If the next variation of this card is not Matterist Bomber, somebody needs to be fired. We got Mad Bomber, we got Matter Bomber, we got Maddest Bomber. The Matterist Bomber needs to be next, and it needs to be like a 14 mana card that has to be reduced by something. I don't know. I love these type of theme cards. It doesn't go without saying that there is some impact on the meta when you have an 8 mana 9/8 in the pool for evolve effects, revolve effects, summon effects. So if you're summoning 8 cost minions, you could now get a 9/8. I mean, most of the time you're going to get like 8/8 in stats, or high rolls are 8/8 in stats, but this raises that average, and that can't be ignored. Do you put this in a deck? Probably not. It's got too much potential to go the wrong way. We don't have things like timeout anymore that make you immune or anything like that. So I don't see a way to maximize this so it doesn't impact you that bad. Though you can't. It will not hit itself.
Correct.
You can put this in Questline Warlock, and all that damage that hits your face will be your opponent's damage anyways.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put this in my deck. I would put this in my deck, but it's an option. Or if you happen to play it earlier than that, at 8 mana, it's expensive. It will further your quest.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Probably not.
But not.
It's an 8 mana 9/8. I don't know. Maybe you put it in there. I don't think it'd be good though.
How about this? Wednesdays are Nozdormu days. How about on Fridays everybody runs Mattis Bomber?
Now, Wednesdays are it's the 15th.
Well, the 15th. Yeah, that's the middle of the month.
I encourage on the 32nd of every month is Mattis Bomber Day.
I think we just go with every Friday. People run Mattis Bomber in their deck.
Friday?
Every Friday.
Golly, I would not play on Fridays.
All right, guys. That's going to do it for all of the cards that have been released thus far for the
As a reminder,
Deadmines mini set.
There are 4 cards yet to be released. They are all legendaries, and from the data we were given, and it was shared on Reddit, we are expecting 1 rogue, 1 shaman, and 2 neutral legendaries.
Yep.
So hopefully we get some rogue. I don't know what the legendary would be there. Shaman, that could be pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of cool shaman stuff. Shaman's not terrible right now, but it's not top dog. And then neutrals, I mean, that's obviously going to be used everywhere. Those should just be strong. Neutral legendaries usually need to be impactful.
Yeah. So we'll have to, like I said, you guys will know what those are before we report on them next week, but we will mention them anyway. So this set drops Tuesday.
Which is tomorrow if you listen to this on the download on Monday.
That's right. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you haven't done so already. If you are interested in checking out our patron-only Discord, head over to patreon.com/heropower. And until next week,
don't forget to use your hero power. See, I'm still saying it.